Welcome back. Well, the March existing home sales report unexpectedly showing a decline yesterday to 2.4%, the largest decline of 2.5% in years, 11 years. Next week, we will get the Case-Shiller Home Price Index and new home sales out on Monday. Mortgage applications out on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we'll get the March pending home sales. Joining me right now is DeBianchi Real Estate and former $1 million listing Miami star. Now, Sam DeBianchi is with me. Sam, great to see you. Thanks so much for being here this morning. Assess the housing market for us ahead of all of these numbers that we're waiting on.
Sure. So existing home sales are down by 22% from last year, 2.4% from a month ago. This is nothing that we haven't really expected from being a realtor in the real estate world, because things are going back to normalcy, a normal market. The problem is buyers aren't too happy because mortgage rates are still above 6% for a 30-year fixed. Sellers aren't happy because they're not able to get what they were able to get 12 months ago and previously. So we're kind of at a bit of a standstill. Something else that's also on the decline are rents. Rents have declined from last year, but funny enough, the previous year they were up by 17.5%. So where's the opportunity right now? You know, a lot of buyers are saying, hey, if my rent's not going to go up and increase like it was so many times, I might stay back in rents. I'm also seeing a lot of young millennials and Gen Zers either having roommates, whether they're renting or they're buying or renting out a room. And lastly, I'm seeing a ton of young millennials and Gen Zers buying properties together, whether it's 2 people, 3 people. I recently had 4 people buy a property together because they kind of want to get a taste for what it is to own real estate, because in their mind, owning real estate, having that American dream that used to be the white picket fence, for young millennials and Gen Zers, it's not that. It's having real estate and making money from it. So we're really going to see a lot of that, plus baby boomers. Baby boomers are leading the buying pool, whereas before it used to be millennials. But because they have so much equity, they're able to spend more, because now, as we know, our median price point has been more than we've seen in years past. And so they're the people that are buying more so than young millennials and Gen Zers who have to buy in multiples.
What's your take, Sam, on President Biden's plans to increase payments on good credit home buyers? He wants those good credit home buyers to subsidize the high-risk mortgagers.
One word: stupidity. How you're giving people who have bad credit generally cannot manage debt. That doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that they can't manage debt properly. So when it comes to buying real estate is generally, for most Americans, their most expensive purchase they will ever make in their lifetime. So now you're saying, here you go, let's give you an even larger burden of debt, one of the hugest amounts of debt you'll ever have. And let's give that to you. That is not rewarding people. It is hurting people. It is setting them up for failure. They will never be able to see financial freedom, financial success, and understand what it really means to work towards your credit, and giving people the tools to learn how to get good credit and buy a home in the right position. Not everyone should be owning real estate.
Isn't that what we did? Isn't that what we did back in 2006 and 7 by encouraging all of these high-risk mortgages for people who weren't prepared to do it, and we ended up with the biggest decline in a generation. You mentioned American Dream. Let me bring in the fabulous host of American Dream Home here on Fox Business, a must-watch. Take it away, Cheryl.
Maria, thank you. Yeah, look, I wanted to ask you about Miami in particular, because, Sam, it's always been a hot market. It still is. But if you're a firefighter or a teacher, you can't afford to live in Miami or Boca or several other cities out there. They're getting pushed out. I want to get your take on what Ron DeSantis is now pushing, this Live Local Act. It's bipartisan. Basically, it would help with affordability for those individuals to keep them in these urban centers. One of the problems with New York, if you're a cop or a firefighter, you can't afford to live in New York, whether you're renting or buying. Is this a good approach, do you think, for Florida real estate?
So, anything that's going to help people stay in their properties and be able to afford their real estate, I think is generally, it's a good thing. I think, like I said, the major trend that I'm seeing, more people are wanting to rent out their properties, whether it's Airbnb a room to generate more money to pay off either their mortgage or to split their rent. So I think, in my opinion, that's really going to be the focus in my industry. As a realtor, I'm going to see more of that. Especially as you're not,
all right.
I mean, I had clients who were renting properties and they were once paying $5,000 a month, and suddenly their landlord said, hey, the new rent's $7,500 a month. And landlords cannot do that anymore. We're just not seeing that crazy growth.
Yeah, I remember that. And then, of course, the administration put a moratorium in place so that renters didn't have to pay the rent. What the heck? I mean,
right. And that
to do that to the owners, that you're not going to get the rent.
Right.
They don't have to pay the rent. This is insanity. Sam, thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much for your insights on all of this. Sam DeBianchi joining us this morning on Miami. We'll be right back.